Next week, we are going to have Lacey speak to us on the Biome FX, which I'm real excited. And we're going to have several other reps with Microbiome Labs join us as well. And they may be inviting some of their practitioners as well. So it should be a very well attended meeting. And one of our practitioners, I don't see her on yet today, but she was saying, you know, this is our tribe. And so she said, why don't we call it the Nerd Tribe? So why not? We've changed the name from Breakfast Club to Microbiome Nerds to now we're the Nerd Tribe. So till anybody has an objection, we'll just keep going with it, right? And then the following month, we've got a practitioner in December. Her name is Christine Sessions, and she's going to talk to us about practitioner empowerment. And I think that will be a good session for us. She works with a lot of her peers as well, does several retreats, and I think that's good timing for all of us to, you know, we've had a real rough year, and maybe we need to just kind of focus on what we need ourselves to heal. Okay, and what I wanted to talk about today, just because I have some show and tell. So these are the newest immune products. This is MegaMune and MegaViron. And so that's going to complete our little suite of immune products. Of course, this was all inspired by our friend COVID-19. But it's good because really we should be the experts at the immune system, because we're the experts on gut health, and that's where the immune system is. So this is really good refresher on our immune system. So I was going to just cover some highlights. I'm going to share my screen and show you what you do have available in your client education Google Doc. And they've already posted, this is the Megacidin research. I think the most exciting thing there to remember is that the secretory IgA is increased by 60% in the oral cavity in 10 minutes. So this is a really nice, quick boost to the immune system. I think it's going to be a whole lot more effective than definitely the material masks, which have shown to be not effective at all. But if you really do want to boost your immune system prior to travel or a meeting or wherever you feel you want to just have more security, then that should be, you know, much more effective. And then the new product, the MegaMune, which is the product here. You can see some great studies here on the different ingredients that it has. It has the broccoli seed extract. Of course, you're getting a great boost, you know, the macrophages, and just kind of in general, let me say our focus on the immune system, what we're finding is the biggest detriment to our immune system are fat, lazy, dendritic cells that are not doing their job, and T cells that are immature. And what that amounts to is poor job performance. What's happening is there's not a good antigen presentation to these immune cells, and that is what is causing this massive immune deficiency, which is exacerbated by poor gut health. So as we dive into this, it really comes down to kind of that's the plot of the story. And what you'll find with these products is, you know, the dendritic cells are part of your innate immune system. The T cells are part of your acquired or your adaptive immune system. And these products work together to sharpen these guys up and help them do their job better and get your immune system back on track. So that's what the bottom line is going to be. And as we go through all of, the studies, the different ingredients, that's, in my next, when I start doing a PowerPoint on these, there's going to be a lot of immunology, just refresher courses on that. But just know it really comes down to that we can, fire up the innate and the acquired immune system, get these cells particularly working better. And all of that comes down to how well your gut, how much of the, you've been able to handle the dysbiosis and help with differentiation or the diversity, because it is our gut that trains the T cells, helps them differentiate, and is in control of the secretory IgA, which is what helps the dendritic cells. So, the bottom line, these products are going to help. You still need the underlying gut protocols, but then you need these boosts to help those particular cells do their job better. So that's, you'll see the focus on our immune products. We are going into, the flu and cold season, and these type of products are ones you want to already have on hand. You don't want to wait until you get sick or your patients get sick. It's something you need to explain to them how they work, how they help the immune system, and they need to get it on their shelves before, because these things act quickly. The MegaViron is a 15-day supply that you're pounding, an antiviral protocol that's boosting the immune system, because that innate system is your first responder, and you've got to have that support right away. So that works in hours. Your active or your adaptive immune system works in days. So that's why you need, the more long-term MegaMune that's going to help that system. But these are things you need to have on hand, so you've got a plan. We do have a rep, our Nevada and Arizona rep is doing weekly immune Zooms, and she's invited anybody that wants to join. That email that I sent, and I still plan to put a constant contact out there. I'll put that Zoom link so that you can jump in on any of her presentations. She's going over all of these products, how they work together with the total gut restoration, because again, the more times you hear it, the more comfortable you feel, the better you'll be able to explain it. And that's available to you every Wednesday at noon. And then of course our Thursday meetings, this week we'll field some of the immune questions, but then next week we're jumping back to the BiomeFX. And so just, be prepared that if you've got questions, send them to me in advance so that I can give Lacey a heads up on what, how to organize those questions so we can get the most out of our hour with her. And it also helps me if I can research the questions too, that it's always better to learn something with specific targets in mind, or what you're researching it for. So, and I'm also available if you find that your wait time on a consultation with the experts, I'm happy to go over these results with you, especially if you're in a time crunch. For your patient, if they've already waited 5 weeks and you're told they have to wait a couple more weeks to get the interpretation, utilize me. At least we can get some feedback going, and we can always add to that, but at least it gives your patient some feedback at a timely manner. So let's feel free to do that. Okay, so I'm going to open up the floor here to see what questions you might have and kind of see where we want to go. We don't have to limit it to just the immune. We can open it to any general questions as well. So the floor is yours.
Okay, so my question is, how does the MegaMune play into the whole concept of all the people that I'm taking care of who are extremely sensitive to the megaspore in terms of rebuilding their immune response? Could that potentially help speed up the process?
I believe in the actual recognition of antigens, the answer is yes. And where we've seen where people, it's not a die-off issue, it's more of a recognition issue. And when we have stepped them down to the 1 spore or the 2 spore, and they do much better, that I believe is more where their problem is existing. It's in that Treg area that they've lost that ability. The T cells have to be differentiated, and when they don't differentiate well, their job performance is really poor, and they're not doing a good job of telling, you know, what's good and what's bad. And yes, I think there will be a help in that area, the actual recognition of antigen presentation. If it's a die-off issue, because they have a lot of dysbiosis, which is throwing out a lot of lipopolysaccharide, I would say no. That's going to still be your IgG 2000 tool that's going to work best for that. And cleaning up, you know, if it's Candida, using the MegaMyco, that you've got a different suppression factor on how it's functioning, not so much a presentation factor.
Thank you. That does make sense.
I could go over some of the ingredients here. So in the MegaViron, and then again, this is the quick acting 15-day supplies. You're going to do 3 capsules twice a day. So you're using zinc, N-acetylcysteine, curcumin, quercetin, organic sea buckthorn, Chinese skullcap, boswellia, organic andrographis, stinging nettle, olive leaf, red ginseng, and reishi mushroom for the beta glucans. And remember, I am learning these two, but there were some specific things that these ingredients do for the immune system. That list of research is available to you. They had a nice table that showed, you know, the research that backs this up. But each of those have something a little bit different that they do for the immune system. Such as that sea buckthorn, what is it called again? Sea buckthorn works specifically when you're transitioning from your innate to your adaptive immune system. You go from an inflammatory system to an anti-inflammatory system, and that herb helps that transition. So they've got some specific mechanisms that they've dug into on how these herbs work. And I thought that was really interesting. And then the MegaMune, and that one is 3 capsules. So it's a 90 cap bottle, and it has zinc, selenium, dried yeast, the Saccharomyces cerevisiae, green tea extract, organic pomegranate, Echinacea purpurea, the gluvarathin, and that's a broccoli seed extract, and cranberry polyphenols. And then each one of those, again, when I get the PowerPoint on these products, it'll make a lot more sense on how each of them work. So I'm still, haven't got my PowerPoint yet, so we'll do that in one of our following Nerd Tribe meetings.
Have they just introduced those, or are they still going to introduce those?
They are available.
When are they going to get? They're available?
Yes, so those are on the website. Hey, Lori, I hope you weren't in the waiting room long. I'm sure there's a notification or some siren or something I can connect to so people aren't sitting there waiting for me. But we've been going over the new immune products. They are available on the website. I can verify that. Let me check. Microbiome Labs. It is a suite of 3, a buccal spray, okay, let's go into the shopping cart here. Megacidin. Well, I take that back. So they haven't officially put it on the order form yet. So I'll have to get back to you when that is going to happen. And they haven't told me. I don't know if they're going to launch it with a sale. They have in the past. As you remember, usually new products have some kind of incentive. So I would, however you manage those, it's always kind of a whoever hears about it and whoever thinks about it. But if you can manage to work that in, save some money, I'm all for it. They usually send that out as a corporate email, and I find out when you find out. So. Now, I don't know if, have we talked about the new BiomeFX website? If we haven't, be sure and check that out. It is a really good source of information. I love their how to use the kit video. It's at the very bottom, how to use, and it's very nicely done. And I mean, it makes feces collection fun. I mean, the video's cute. If anything could be possible in that, but they did a really good job. They've got the sample report on there. Now, typically when I'm introducing a practitioner, I just go to this website and walk through it, walk through the videos, the education modules. They're all linked here. The interpretation guide, the interpretation guide and the recommendations, and those are 2 separate documents. So check out both. The recommendations really go over the individual pathogens, and the interpretation guide goes over the biochemistry of the different modules. So I think that's, to me, it's nice to have just one place to find all of that. Any questions on, were you all aware of the BiomeFX website, or was it new to anybody?
It was new to me, and it looks good.
Super.
I became aware of it when when the FDN had a webinar with Kat Simmons. She told us about it.
Super. Super.
Yeah.
We're still doing clinical grand rounds. It looks like every month they have a different one. Last month was pediatric mental health. I know that they did a skin one month, and it's nice to go in and just hear a different profession and kind of what they deal with. Here it is, grand rounds. And they have been offering some discounts. The webinars themselves are taped in advance, but the Q&A sessions are live, and that's what you get the discounts for participating in. Looks like they put a bonus, support a functional immune response to cold. So that's today, okay. So this is one that they're doing on our new immune products. So this recording is available to you, and I'll watch it as well, because that's probably where my PowerPoint's going to come from. And let me see under the read more when the Q&A session will have. Yeah, so they're going over the immune products. Well, I didn't see where they said when the Q&A is going to be. Well, maybe they're not doing one, because they're calling it a bonus. So I think they're just squeezing it in, because they did 2 this month. Last month was the periodontal disease and the role of microbiome testing. That had to have been on the Biome FX. Eczema and psoriasis in July, IBS in May, child microbiome by Michelle Perrault. She was one of our keynote speakers last year at the keynote symposium. Setting up an effective practice. I'm not sure. And then the COVID ACE2 receptor one that Karen did was back in March. But if you've gone on the link that talks about the keynote symposium, I'll find one here. And I think most of you know this, that the first speaker is actually Rita Caldwell, who is the founder of Cosmos ID. And if you can Google her, she's got several podcasts out there. My favorite is the one she did on sexism in science. And she and I must be about the same age, because I ran into many of the same things that she did. And so it was fun just listening to her, how she kind of got through that. And so this is the information. So this is next month. There's Rita right here. And then Nicole is the one who's been doing the clinical grand rounds, and I've been really impressed with her. She's very well spoken, very organized. I like her as a presenter. And I think some of these others are the ones that are in the clinical grand rounds. So you kind of get a feel for what their specialty is and how they speak and if they're a good educator or not. So, and this is the first year we're offering continuing ed for NTP, RN, DC, NDs. So, and that's the place to find out about them. I saw it somewhere. Oh, I guess it's roving. There it is.
Are they going to have recordings that we can buy later?
No, they're not.
Because some of us can't get to.
Exactly. Yep. And I suppose that is to try to get people to sign up instead of buy the recording. I don't know the marketing strategy in that, because they've always done recordings before. I just know they're not doing it this year. So don't know what is up with that. But anywho, let's see if to make sure there's nobody waiting for us. Okay. Any questions about the keynotes, the BiomeFX website? I will find out when the actual official launch is. In fact, let me just check my calendar. It might say on it. You know that the days are just flying by. I don't know if anybody else is noticing that. It's like, it's whizzing by like a race car. So I don't know if I'm just keeping myself so busy purposely that maybe I overdid it. Okay. So we got daylight savings time this Sunday, in case that always sneaks up on me. Don't forget to vote. Got that on Tuesday. It looks like we're supposed to get, the reps are going to be trained on it on Wednesday. I would think that traditionally, we're usually being trained the day it launches. So I'm thinking it's probably going to launch next week. Because I don't see any other big announcements.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording. And